Welcome back to Gangs All Here, New York Jets podcast from the New York Post. Jake Brown here alongside Jets beat writer Brian Costello. Coming up later in the show, we'll be joined by diehard Jets fan, mogul, Vayner Sports, Vayner Media, everything he does. Gary Vee will join us in just a little bit. This episode of Gangs All Here is presented by Tri-State Cadillac Dealers. Visit your Cadillac showroom today. Happy holidays, Kaz.
Happy holidays, Jake.
Let me get my greetings and salutations.
How's your Friday morning?
Oh, it's just absolutely atrocious. Let me start with this. Happy birthday, Mom. Today is my mom's birthday, so let me wish my mom a happy birthday before I unleash my fury this morning. I love my mother. Wish her a happy birthday, good health. And wish her a happy new year coming up. So
I think I thought I heard you saying something about mother last night, Jake. The mother, there was something after the word mother, but maybe it was you wishing your mom a happy birthday last night. Early.
Mother LaFleur, mother effer LaFleur, mother effer Zach. A once promising Jets season, Kaz, is now toast. A Jets team that was once standing at 5-2 in the playoffs in the first half of the season. A team that had a playoff spot at 7-4 Thanksgiving weekend with 6 games remaining had us going through which team we want to play, which city. Do we want ribs in Kansas City? Do we want wings in Buffalo? Do we want to go to Tootsie's in Tennessee? Do we want to take a road trip to Baltimore? Where do we want to go on January 14th, January 15th? When the Jets are back in the playoffs for the first time in 11 years, 4 losses later, after an embarrassment against the Jacksonville Jaguars at MetLife Stadium in the rain, the Jets are now 7-8, and those playoff dreams feel like a lifetime ago. And that's only fitting, Kaz, for a Jets franchise set to continue the NFL long drought of 12 years without making the playoffs, barring a miracle here in the final 3 weeks where they got to win 2 games. They got to get help from Miami. They got to get help from New England. They got to get help from your mother, your sister, your cousin, your dog, your pet goldfish. The coaching was overmatched on both sides of the ball. The once elite defense came down to earth. They didn't create turnovers. They didn't make enough impact plays. The offense was unwatchable. Michael Furr's play calling sucked. The offensive line has collapsed. There was 0 run game. And their head coach, Robert Saleh, had 0 awareness at halftime to come out of the locker room and provide a jolt by making the QB change he had to make that he did 2 series later after Zach came out and did what he did best. 3 and out. The Boo Birds rained down just like the weather did. Saleh opted to wait, and it was too little, too late. The Zach Wilson era is over with the Jets. It's wrapped up like a Christmas present. His present of Jets fans, cold, ineptitude, inability to read a blitz, inability to make a simple throw, inability to use his legs, which is part of why the Jets drafted him, and run for positive yards like the guy who got picked in front of him that we wish the Jets did on Thursday night. The inability to make any sort of throw and show any competence. He was booed on the field. He was booed off the field. He was booed from my couch. He was booed from every Jets fan couch and any bar you may have gone to the point that I poured up a glass of wine in the third quarter because I couldn't take it anymore. It was a disgraceful display of football, and the Jets' playoff hopes are down the drain like a post-game trip after Chipotle, Kaz. Man, this sucks. Big picture, good future, bright future. I'm not ready to look at the big picture right now. I'm ready to look at right now. And what happened these last 4 weeks makes your blood boil as a Jets fan. I am so mad at this team. And I know I said 7 wins, and I know I said in the hunt. That in the hunt talk was good 3 or 4 weeks ago. In the hunt sucks now. I hate it. Throw those 3 words out of the English language right now, because that last week game in Miami, Kaz, and not for just me going to South Beach, having fun in the sun, whatever, that game should have mattered. And right now it looks like that game won't matter, just like every last game of the Jets season. I'm pissed off.
Looks like you're going to an engagement party, Jake. Woo!
I mean, you were there, and
yeah, I was there.
I'm just thinking from my couch, Kaz, like, how did you fans go to that game? How do you sit there? I felt like I was sitting through it on the couch. God bless them. Give them a large Pepsi, not a medium in week 1.
It was ugly. Like it didn't rain as hard as they said it was going to for the entire game, but it was like misting the entire game. It was windy. It was just a miserable, raw night at the Meadowlands. And then to watch that product on the field where the offense couldn't do anything. Those poor people, just I don't know. They are the diehards that were at that game. But yeah, I mean, look, Jake, I think if it had come out a different way and you're at 7 wins at this point, maybe you're happier. But they raised expectations by the way they started the season, and everything that went right for the Jets in the first part of the season has gone wrong in the last 4 weeks, and that's kind of, I hate to say it, but this is who the Jets are, right? I don't think anyone ever got delusional that this was a 11 win, 12 win team, right? Like you kind of thought 10 was the max, and it looked good. They were when they were at 7-4, right? But this is a 500 team right now, and they're playing themselves back to 500, and so this is kind of the. But Jake, you talk about the future, and like, look, they have some great building blocks, but they have a giant hole at the most important position in sports. There's nothing more important than quarterback in any sport you follow. And I don't know what they're going to do because clearly Zach Wilson ain't the guy. But is Mike White the guy? I don't know. And the problem is Mike White's a free agent. So what kind of contract do you give Mike White right now? Like you can't give him a starting quarterback contract for $35 million. He hasn't earned that. But what is he looking for? And then, do you go into 2023 with him as your guy? Do you go out and get Jimmy Garoppolo? Like there's just a ton of questions to answer this offseason at quarterback. And look, it's going to be Robert Saleh's third year going into next year. He's got to win. It's Joe Douglas's fifth year. I'm losing track. And he did obviously had a great draft, right? He got Sauce as a Pro Bowler. Garrett Wilson could be Rookie of the Year as well as Sauce. Breece Hall is going to be a star. He did great, but he blew it when he took Zach Wilson number 2 in 2021. And by the way, Jake, this was like the curse of Adam Gase, right? Watching Trevor Lawrence last night, because this was Gase's last kick to Jets fans, was winning those 2 games when he was basically dead man walking in December of 2020. And Trevor Lawrence looks like the real freaking deal, man. Like that, he played really well, and that's going to haunt the Jets, I think.
You saw the difference in the quarterback you wanted and the quarterback he ended up with. Lawrence did it, in rainy conditions, tough conditions,
against a good defense.
Against good defense. Yep. Threw the ball effectively, and he ran like he looked like a gazelle. It was almost like porn watching him run. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just like he just looked perfect running. Meanwhile, Zach had the inability to read any blitz. He couldn't get, when he got outside the pocket, he stays back. Like he has no awareness of just trying to get positive yardage. He goes backwards. He chucks it. I mean, he should have had 4 interceptions. It's a miracle he only ended up with 1 on the stat sheet. The deep one should have been picked, and there were drops too, obviously, but like so many easy throws. And then Streveler comes in, makes the little softy for a first down. The crowd goes absolutely nuts. And listen, Streveler didn't score, but the offense showed, like, I was exuberant on my couch when Streveler was in and then running and then gets the first down. That was cause first downs and running the ball was the exciting part of the game. Like we shouldn't have to wait that long. And that should have been the case, that the Jets offense was better with Joe Flacco, with Mike White, with Chris Streveler, with Josh freaking Johnson. Yep. They've been better with every quarterback but him. They've shown the ability to move the ball. It's unreal.
And that's where I know you mentioned Mike LaFleur in your open there, right? And I heard Jets fans were all over Mike LaFleur last night. This ain't Mike LaFleur, man. Like, this is not Mike LaFleur. The offense works when he has a different quarterback in there. Like, he's still calling the plays. And I get, if you want to nitpick about the goal line in Minnesota, that's fair. Go ahead. But like overall, Mike LaFleur is not the issue here. The quarterback is the issue. And the offensive line is becoming a very big issue, Jake, too. They are beat up and they are terrible. And, I'm not excusing Zach, but they did not really help him out last night either. There was no running game, 4 rushing yards in the first half. You can ding LaFleur on that, like 5 rushes for 4 yards. It's a pouring rain night. You got to get the running game going. And then I will say this, Jake. Watching Doug Peterson call plays was like a work of art. Like the 3rd and 1 where Lawrence fakes the handoff and hits Evan Ingram for the long game. Then it was, I think, 3rd and 9, and Etienne runs right up the middle. Like he was feeling it last night in the first half. The second half, the Jets defense I thought caught up, but the first half they were on their heels. Really, really just I thought Peterson called a good game, but
and I mean, you saw that the difference in coaches. Doug Peterson is Super Bowl champion head coach, and listen, Saleh's the guy. I like him, but we're keeping the receipts, bro. Like what you had, and you tweeted it. Every writer tweeted it. You had to make the change at halftime at quarterback.
Yeah,
it wasn't even a controversial decision, Cos. It was the only decision.
Right. I said Flacco. I said Strebler. I said go ask Fitz if he wants to play.
I tweeted send you to the field. Send you from the press box to the field.
Todd Bowles once commented, he saw me I threw a pass, the ball came on the sideline of practice, and I threw it back in, and Bowles yelled, "Hey, Cos, I guess you were an option quarterback." So
I'll take it.
The option. Yeah, I mean, they had to do something, Jake. I agree with you. And he said after the game, I asked him, did you think about it at halftime? He said no. And then, I mean, this like protecting Zach stuff is getting old too, where he's like, oh, well, it wasn't really, about
Did he say
Zach.
He got better?
Yeah, well, he got better since he's come back, he said, yeah.
Oh,
and he said, but he didn't say it has to show on the field, but I guess he saw that practice. But he said, like, the Strebler thing was just about throwing a change up and, like, getting the running game going. It wasn't about Zach. How could it not be about Zach? Like, he was terrible. Like, you wouldn't put Strebler in there if he was playing well. So they're protecting him still. It's getting old. I'll say this, Jake. Zach Wilson had a different look after this game. He looked shell-shocked. And I think this kid, his confidence is shot. And to me, he needs to just get away from football for a while. He needs to go to an island with his girlfriend for a couple weeks. Hopefully, no Jets fans like you will be there yelling at him at the pool.
I might be. If it's mid-January, I might have to book my trip.
Yes. So, but he needs to just like get away from football. Don't touch a football, nothing, and then get back to work in February. Like he looks right now, just his confidence is shot. And I have not seen that from him before. He's usually a very confident kid. Last night, he just looked beaten, like a beaten man.
Stop coddling the quarterback. Yeah. There was no reason after that game. Say it like it is. Zach Wilson sucked. Our quarterback was bad.
I think he needs to say Zach Wilson sucked, but he can say, hey, I wanted to make a change because Zach wasn't getting it done, right? Just simple as that. It's easy. The whole, we haven't seen the last of them. I mean, that sounds like a threat to Jets fans right now. But the good news, Jake, is I do think Mike White will be cleared for Seattle. I think you'll see White for Seattle. That's kind of what I've thought all along he'd be back for, since they made the announcement that he wasn't cleared. So we'll see. We'll see next week if he gets cleared.
Oh, there's 2 more football games. I had no idea. Season's over. I mean, there's still
they can be mathematically eliminated this weekend, Jake. It's a lot has to happen. I think it's the Dolphins have to win, the Patriots have to win, the Chargers have to win, and then either the Ravens or Browns have to win. So that's a lot, but they can actually be eliminated this weekend.
I hope it all happens.
I don't think New England's going to win. But
and here's the thing: they lose. You say there's a lot of situations where they could be eliminated this weekend. There's also situations where they're still in this thing, which is why I'm like, all right, yes, it's basically over. But when I was going through the scenarios, and listen, obviously you have to win 2, but like as you go through the scenarios, you need the Dolphins to lose to either the Packers or lose to the Patriots. Now, if the Patriots win versus the Dolphins, they need to lose to the. You're gonna get confused. This is like Pythagorean theorem.
Come on. I feel like I'm in freaking like biology class here in high school.
I was terrible at biology.
Yeah, I'm getting lost here.
Well, essentially, the Patriots have to lose. Is
this algebra? What do you do?
Yes. Well, I was actually good at algebra. Algebra was one of the easier parts of math. The Patriots essentially lose to the Bengals and they lose to the Bills, which they're not going to be favored in either, so that's possible. And they beat Miami.
But the Bills. The Bills might have nothing to play for in that last game.
Or they could be playing for home field too. So that
game
could
maybe, but yeah, that's true. But remember a few years ago when Matt Barkley played the Jets in the last
Listen,
week.
Patriots lose 2, Dolphins lose 1, Jets win out. That's the most normal, less insane path for the Jets to be in the playoffs. I think there might be a
But wait a
few
second,
minor
is it the
things.
tight? Well, what about what if not the AFC South now, right? Because
And then I think if the Titans beat the Jaguars the last week, that would be the icing on the cake. So because the Jaguars would get to 9 losses, so that would get rid of them and not worry about that time. But they lose every time. We knew these tiebreakers could play.
Yeah,
Although
I just can't see the part I can't see is the Jets winning the next 2 games.
Yeah, if Mike White's back, maybe.
But Seattle. I mean, Seattle's fighting for their lives, and that's a tough trip to fly out to Seattle, and then they're gonna have to come back playing 80 degrees in Miami. That's not going to be easy either. Especially
I think
the Dolphins
they're
are fighting for their lives.
But we have to lay out the scenario that yes, there is a possibility. It's down to 10%. It went from 25 to 10% for the. So if you want to say
there's a chance,
yeah, you want a Dumb and Dumber gift, may do it. So you're saying there's a chance. There is a slight chance. I kind of want them to. I hate to say that. I want them to kind of lose because if the scoreboard works out and then they beat Seattle, then it's like, damn it, they could still make it to Miami. Maybe I still end up going to Miami.
Sorry, bro.
Well, I don't honestly. I still don't think I'm going down to South Carolina. As bad as that sounds, I don't think I'm gonna go to the party, even if the game doesn't matter. But we'll see. If
the Jets have a 2% chance of making the playoffs, you'll be in Miami, but you're not going to go to your brother's engagement party.
Oh, maybe I'll go. I don't know. Now I just feel terrible, but I still got to work. Anyways, yeah, this was the icing on the cake. This was bad, and I think we've seen the end of Zach Wilson. I tweeted, 2023 quarterbacks, Garoppolo, Mike White. I think any Jets fan would sign up for that. Obviously, depending on how Garoppolo recovers from the ACL.
If they sign Garoppolo's a quarterback because Garoppolo is a $35 million a year quarterback.
Well, assuming he's ready, for week one.
Yes, and Mike White would be too. But I mean, they were talking about Garoppolo could play in the playoffs, right? So he'll be ready for next season. His injury was not as bad as initially thought, so. I think he'd be ready for next year, but if they sign him, he's the quarterback. He's not coming here to compete with Mike White.
If you pay, here's the thing. And
what about a Mike White, Zach Wilson competition next summer?
I don't want Mike White in the state of New York unless it's the 4th string Buffalo Bills.
Zach Wilson.
Whatever. Zach Wilson.
He said Mike White.
It's been a long day. It's been a long morning. I don't want Zach Wilson in the tri-state area. I send him to Cabo. Just send him on an island where there's a lot of MILFs. Get him over there. Get him out of here. I'm done. I can't. There's everything about him. And the Zach. I can't keep saying Mike White. The Zach Wilson truthers. The offensive line suck. Well, LaFleur's stop blaming everyone else because every other quarterback had success. I agree. The offensive line sucked. The play calling isn't great. But you still need to show some competency, and he hasn't done it. There's moves he could have made. There's runs he could have made. There's throws. He in the end of the first half, that throw to, I think it was Garrett Wilson wide open where it just bloop. I'm shocked he didn't blame the rain after the game for anything. I'm shocked he didn't mention the rain.
He was good after the game. He was accountable. Give him that. So, I know he got ripped hard after New England. So he's grown since then. But the thing is, Jake, when you watch the Mike White offense, right? They weren't lighting it up at all, but he just gets the ball out of his hands quick. He looks like he knows where he has to go with the ball. He finds the open receivers. Zach is just holding the ball. He's not processing. He's not seeing open receivers. When he sees them late. And that leads to these bad throws. He is just a mess right now, mechanically, mentally. Like I said, he needs to go to a beach. He needs to just he needs a true reset now, and just get away from it.
I need a beach. I need to go somewhere warm and away from watching Jets football because this season. And listen, I'll say this: it was a fun season. It was the best season of this podcast.
That's a low bar.
Yeah, I mean, the best season of the podcast, best season since 2015. It was a fun ride. We could say that, but right now you can't look at this season and be like, wow, this season was a success, because from where they were to where they are now, it's just pathetic. And I hate to say this, the 3 words, but same old Jets.
It's not the same old
Jets.
It's not. it's
in
not the
terms of
same
how it
roster.
played out, I don't think it's the same old Jets. The
It's not the
roster,
same.
everything's bright, and they
Yeah.
get Vera Tucker back, Brees Hall, and I mean, you continue to see how much you mean. Because I think even with this bad offensive line, I think Brees Hall would have found a way to get more positive yardage.
Well,
Chris the Jets rusher by a mile. Like
here's the
that's
thing with Brees Hall and what they're missing right now. Brees Hall could turn a 3-yard run into a 60-yard run. Okay. Yep. They do not have anyone on the field right now that can do that. Garrett Wilson is the closest, right? He can do some things with the ball in
but
his
he
hands.
can't get the ball without a quarterback. So,
but Brees Hall was a home run hitter, and like you saw it in Green Bay, you saw it in Denver, and you know he was the offense wasn't great in those games, but Brees was able to just break some things, and they just really missed that element of what that he brought to the offense.
save us, Brees. Save us, Elijah. Save us, Makai.
I don't know what, but when are they going to be ready? When is Brees? I mean, Brees injured the knee in late October. I don't know what. Like, is he going to be ready for the start of next season?
I pray.
Yeah, I think Vera Tucker will be. But yeah, and then Mekhi Becton. I don't know what you're thinking with him. He hasn't played in 2 years at this point. Now
he's got to become something because you're not. I hope
Jake,
you're not seeing George Fadden next year.
You see, I don't think you're gonna see George Fadden. I think he's gonna be gone, but you might see somebody else. I just think with Mekhi, I was talking to somebody last night about this. Like, what do you do with him? Because it's hard to pencil him in as a starter right now. Like, you see what Deshaun Watson's going through, right, in Cleveland after missing 2 years of football. Like, you don't miss 2 years of football and then walk right back in and you're okay. I'm ready to play. It doesn't happen. So I don't think they can count on him as a starter next year.
It's not even Christmas, and we're talking about next year. I thought we were going to be in the hunt on Christmas, and we're eliminated.
Yeah, you'll still be in the hunt. You're not eliminated. You're still in the hunt. You'll still be in the graphic on Saturday and Sunday, Jake.
In the graphic, it's 7 and 8 below the Raiders. The freaking Raiders.
They're not below the Raiders. They're not below the Raiders. Are 6 and 8. They're not below the Raiders. They're below the Jaguars now, but they're not below the Raiders yet. They're 10th. We haven't done this on the show all year, Jake. So tankathon.
Oh my God.
That's right now would be picking 15th, Jake. Have you started to scout the draft yet? Have you started to look? Are you thinking tackle with the 15th pick? Are you thinking tackle? I think, there could be a good tackle at 15. There could be maybe a tight end, maybe a safety. What are you looking at 15?
He's talking about tankathon. It's December 23rd.
Well,
it's not even Christmas.
We usually talk about Tankathon on October 1st. So
yeah, congrats, Jets. You were relevant past Halloween this year. You made it to Christmas. Yeah. You made it. No.
Close.
The Jets made it to the 6th night of Hanukkah. I did math there. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
They made it to Festivus, Jake. Today's Festivus.
They made it through 5 nights of Hanukkah and Festivus. There's the Festivus for the rest of us. Go unwrap your presents on Christmas. It'll be a lot of coal this year. All right. Well, we'll be back next Thursday to preview a potentially irrelevant game in Seattle. Geno Smith will not lay out the final punch.
Or Geno Smith with the knockout punch.
Yeah, it actually will be for their playoff hopes if he does, so your story, especially if all the scores the Jets need happen this weekend, and that's a big game, he can deliver the literal knockout, like eliminate them from contention, which I know I see your smile on your face.
Poetry.
Right now.
Well, it's poetry, Jake. It's poetry.
Kaz has an Edgar Allan Poe column ready to go.
I had this one last night, Jake. I know you read all the stories, but
I had Strevelation ready for the back of the New York Post.
My lead was, the Jets appeared on Amazon Prime last night and failed to deliver.
Oh my God.
Get it? Deliver Amazon Prime. Deliver.
Oh my God.
Get it?
Deliver me a bottle of tequila right now. Good God. That is. Ugh.